Howdy y'all, welcome to Baking Something Sweet. I'm your host Jason Debs, and today we're making some ooey gooey cookies. Now these cookies have been in my family for quite a while. Well, they actually came from my wife's family, but she was so gracious to share this recipe with me, and I can't wait to share this recipe with y'all. Now we're getting into the colder months. It's December right now, early December, and what's better than warming up to the fire with a nice plate of cookies? And you know you got to get those cookies ready for Santa when he comes, leaves those presents underneath the tree for y'all. He's going to want a nice, warm, chewy, gooey cookie, and that's what we're going to be making here today. Now I got all my ingredients portioned out all ready to go for this video for y'all, but I'm going to leave the description with the recipe, and I'm going to put everything that I'm putting into this recipe up on the screen for you to see and follow along with. It's a super simple recipe. I think you're gonna love it, so let's get started. You're gonna wanna turn your oven to 350, let that preheat. I always forget to preheat the oven, so I get my cookies all mixed up and then I'm sitting there waiting, and that just adds to the agony of waiting for these ooey gooey sweet cookies. Now I am fortunate enough that I have a stand mixer. If you don't have one of these, that is a-okay. You can go ahead, use a hand mixer, that's gonna work just as well. Or if you're one of them beefy strong fellas, you can use your hands. Get to mixing like they did back in the day before this fancy technology that we got that helps us oh so much today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw half of a cup of butter into a mixer, plus just one more little knob. Who doesn't like a little extra butter? And to that butter, I'm gonna add half a cup of brown sugar and also half a cup of white sugar. That's gonna make us something nice and sweet and buttery, and we're gonna love it. I'm gonna throw in a little extra white sugar into this, because you know I like my cookies nice and sweet, just like my wife. I'm gonna throw this mixer on, and I'm gonna let that butter and that sugar just marry together, meet each other, make something nice, and I'll be with you in a second. Now see what we've done here? We've creamed together the butter and the sugar, and that is looking tasty. I might just dip my finger right in there and get me a little bit. Yeah, these cookies gonna be bussin' for real. Now to this butter and sugar mixture, we're gonna be adding 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla and letting that all mix together and incorporate. Now that we got the egg and the vanilla mixed in there, we're gonna be adding the last bits of our ingredients. We're gonna be a half teaspoon of salt. We're gonna throw in 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half teaspoon of baking soda, and now we're gonna mix this well. We want all of this to be incorporated. We don't want any loose individual elements. So this is gonna go on for quite a while. Again, this is another moment where if you're one of them big strong fellas, you're gonna be getting in a workout today, no need to go to the gym. So I'm gonna be using my handy dandy standing mixer, do all that work right there for me. Now, if you're feeling that your dough is a little bit dry, don't worry, you can throw in just a splash of water. I've done that before, it's okay, it's gonna be all right, don't worry about that. It still tastes muy delicioso when you do that. And you know what, I'm thinking that my dough is looking just a tad dry, so I'm gonna give me the smallest amount of water just to incorporate everything. Another option is some milk if you wanna do that as well. Either one's gonna be fine. Okay, that little splash of water just did the trick. You want your dough to be nice and malleable, nothing too hard, nothing too soft. You want it to still keep its little bit of divot when you press into it. This is gonna be perfect. This will allow us to roll it into some nice little balls, pop it on into the oven, and we're just gonna have some cookies in about 10 to 12 minutes. Now at this stage, you also wanna add in any of those topping and extra fillings that you want. I'm gonna go with some regular chocolate chips. I'm gonna be doing about 6 ounces to 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. But you can add nuts or raisins or whatever your little heart desires. You know, sometimes I like baking just the plain dough. It's rather tasty. So I'm gonna get my chocolate chips in there, mix it up just a little bit more, and then we're gonna be throwing these puppies on into that oven. Now the secret ingredient I'm gonna put in these cookies is a little bit of love. Mwah! Now those will cook up real nice. I got my dough all right here, and you know what? I'm just gonna take me a little nibble right now. Oh, these cookies are just gonna be perfect. Depending on how big or small you want your cookies, that's up to you. You just wanna roll them into balls and place them nice and evenly on the baking sheet. I've got the biggest baking sheet I can get, the biggest one I got. And I've got a silicone pad down, so it ain't gonna stick to nothing. But I'm doing maybe about 1 inch in diameter of cookie dough balls, and I'm gonna be placing those evenly across the baking sheet. So right here I got 15 cookie dough balls right on my baking sheet. I'm gonna pop them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, keep an eye on them, and then we're gonna have ourselves some delicious cookies with milk. See y'all in a bit. I'm gonna pull these out of the oven. Now remember, when pulling things out of the oven, be extra careful and wear your protective gear like an oven mitt. Oh, these are just looking scrumptious now, aren't they? I'm gonna put them on a wire rack to cool. If you like really gooey cookies, go ahead and dive on into them real early. If you want them to firm up a bit, just let them cool for a while. Now, if you've made too much dough like I have here, that's okay. It stores really well in the freezer or in the fridge for just the next day. You can make another batch of yummy, scrumptious cookies. So I've been letting my cookies rest for about 2 or 3 minutes, but I just wanted to grab one and show you just how gooey that is. Oh, look at that. Oh, nice, soft, delicious cookie. I'm gonna try one. Now, if that just ain't perfect, I don't know what is. So I hope that you make these cookies for you and your family and for Santa Claus this Christmas. If you have any questions or want more recipes, comment down in the comment section below. And I hope you have the most blessed day as you bake something sweet yourself. Bye-bye now.
It's beginning to look a lot like...
I'm losing the accent.